These are the early 90s and Porsche is being celebrated for giving us one of the best sports car ever designed, and that is the Porsche 911. While everybody was going Porsche, 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 Porsche on the background was actually struggling. It was struggling financially. They were just at the brink of being bankrupt. And so, just like a stadium full of 45,000 Gen Zs, and one of them stands up and says, "Oya majamaa, 2027 tupigie Kasongo kura." It's the reaction is the same reaction that the Porsche execs got when one of them woke up and said, "Guys, why don't we come up with a Porsche SUV?" Because it was never dreamt of, it was never imagined that Porsche will actually make an SUV. And so after push and pull, they were like, okay, who do we need to share the spoils with in case this idea is bonkers? And so one of them called a guy from VW, and together with VW, they came up with a code name of the first ever SUV to be designed both on the Porsche side and the VW side. And that code name was Colorado. And that gave birth to the first ever Porsche Cayenne, standing right beside me, and on this side as well, and also the VW Touareg. And that, boys and girls, ended up to be the thing that saved Porsche from bankruptcy. It actually made so many sales that Porsche was like, hey, this thing's so cool, why don't we make a baby out of it? And they actually made a Porsche Macan out of that. And so today, on this epic and beautiful episode of Conversation Kanisa, let's get to understand, so what is so unique about the third generation of the Porsche Cayenne, and what does it have in terms of technology, and why should you choose this instead of the Range Rover Sport, the BMW X5, the GLE? Yeah, let's get into it. Oh my God. This review has been made possible by our good friend Belafid Autos, wako hapa Karen Acres, exactly opposite the Waterfront Mall main entrance, and they have a variety of Porsche Cayennes. To be specific, they have 8 more units on top of these 2. This being a 2018 and this being a 2019, both belong to the third generation Porsche Cayenne. Now, there's a guy and a gentleman by the name Martins, I'm going to put his number here, who has been very instrumental in the research of us sharing all the information about these cars. He actually understands Porsche like the back of his hands. So kimbia pale Belafid, pigia Martins, he'll take you through these awesome, beautiful cars. In fact, he has one secret unit being cleared at the port, which is the Cayenne S, with a very nice red, bright interior. If you get that one, it'll be an awesome, awesome ownership journey. Now, before we get into the review of this awesome car, I'll also request you, if you haven't subscribed, please take a second, take a minute, hit the subscription button, leave me a comment, leave me a like, because if you do that, then you'll get this video to as many people as possible. Na kama imekubamba sana, and this journey 200 is getting awesome and beautiful, because I have a surprise at the end of the 200,000K, then you can also share this video to as many people as you can, because who doesn't want to buy a Porsche? Let's get into this awesome review of the 2019 Porsche Cayenne. One valuable thing that you'll always notice anytime you're going to buy a Porsche, any Porsche, be it the 911, be it the Porsche Panamera, be this the Porsche Cayenne, is the styling. And these cars, similarly, if you look at them, they try to look like the other one. Like there is a very subtle definition in differences in terms of size and all that. But generally, every Porsche tries to look like the other Porsche. And that is the exact thing you get when you're buying yourself this 2019 Porsche Cayenne. Now, this is the best model. Being a 2019, there are a few revisions that have gone into this car to make it more awesome in the terms of the design. So this is not a revolution. The revolution will happen in the interior. And I'll take you through what Porsche has done in the Porsche Cayenne in the interior, so that you guys can marvel in terms of how technologically advanced this car is. But in terms of the exterior, this we can say it's more of an evolution. It's an evolution into a different type of car that is more smoother, is more sharper, is more streamlined. It gives you more of a sporty vibe. The other one had a bit of more curves and edges, but this one, the curves and edges have been streamlined to be sharper. It's also wider and longer and shorter in terms of height to give you that sporty stance. And something else that you need to know is if you buy the 20 or the 3rd generation Porsche Cayenne, you can also get it with a coupe design, meaning it has also an option that has a slanting roof that makes it look more sportier. That was inspired by the Porsche Panamera. But let's talk about what sets this car apart. If you look at the former generation, the 2nd generation, and this 3rd generation, so what are the things that will set those cars apart? One of them is the design of the headlights. So what you get here is a full LED matrix headlight, and Porsche calls it the Porsche Dynamic Light System. If you get one from 2023, they are called the Porsche Dynamic Light System Plus. It has extras when it comes to the LED setup. But the good thing about this is this LED has these 4 tips, which also act up as daylight running when you're driving this car during the day, and it looks nice. During the night, it is in fact much better. Inside these headlamps, you have 84 LED tips that light differently, and this light stays on full mode all the time, meaning it has auto beam, and that auto beam will help you stop dazzling the oncoming traffic. So the 84 LED tips can actually shut down systematically to make sure that whoever is driving mbele yako is given the much authority in terms of safety so that he doesn't get blinded when he's driving. And that is the beauty of technology. These ones are adaptive, meaning if you take corners, they go with you, and that is one special upgrade when you decide to buy the newer Porsche Cayenne. And you guys know I'm a sucker for technology, and these headlights just make it awesome to have on an advanced car like this one. So part of the other advanced systems that you're going to get on a Porsche, just like the BMW X5, which this car competes with, is you have your grille at the front, but you also have active vents. So when this car wants to have proper aerodynamics, it shuts off those vents to make sure that there's efficiency in terms of how you drive. Or it wants proper cooling, it actually opens that vent. It's a set of vents, so it opens up all the vents, then you get proper cooling to make sure that this car runs optimally. And if you thought that the cooling, the active vents ends here, you're wrong. Porsche made it possible to also have active vents on this side and on that side as well. These are the side vents. And these ones here, behind it, you'll house your intercoolers on that side, on this side, and the extension of your cooling system like the radiator. And these are also active, meaning they open up and close depending on how the system or the engine wants to feel. If it wants more cooling, it opens. When it wants to stay aerodynamically correct, then it closes. Then you have your side indicator, which is LED, and it has been integrated quite well on this side active vending system, which is just beautiful. So let's look at the side profile. As I said earlier, there has been a streamlined to make this car sharper. Yes, it's wider, it's slightly longer, but the wheelbase stays the same. Now, one of the interesting things is the ground clearance of this car is 190 millimeters. That is approximately 19 centimeters. If you remember, if you watch the review of the Daihatsu Rocky, you will be knowing by now that it has a ground clearance of 200 millimeters, which translates to 20 centimeters. So it's slightly higher than this car, which is interesting. But this car has a trick up its sleeves because the suspension setup of this car is air suspension. And this air suspension is very unique. Why is it unique? It's unique because it can actually adjust the level that this car sits on depending with the luggage or the weight that you're carrying. So when you drive a normal, so the other one that is parked next to us, the other 2018 variant, comes with your normal coil suspension with electronic dampers, meaning they can adjust to feel sporty, they can adjust to feel comfy depending with the driving mode that you're driving in. But this particular one, it has air suspension. Now, the unique thing about this, as I said earlier, in case you're carrying too many people, you're carrying too much luggage, ukiwa kwa ile yenye iko na coil na dampers, once it goes down, it stays down because it's a spring that has stretched or shrunk. But on the air suspension, you carry heavier people, it goes down, the car has a level sensor, so it can actually inflate the bellows to bring back the car to the right position. That is the only thing you get when you're buying a Porsche. My friend, these guys are not playing, okay? And when it comes to the wheels, so what you get here, again, these are your standard wheels that you get on the base model. Remember, Porsche has made it possible for you to spec out every little element that you want on this car. So if you look at the other car parked next to us, again courtesy of Belafid, you realize it has a different set of wheels. Now, depending on your preference and the money you have in your account and what you're willing to spend, you can spec out. But the one who bought this one likes this, and I want to agree with him because these wheels actually complement the color of this car quite nicely. So you get size 20 wheels on this one, but you can get up of 22 size wheels if you go for the Cayenne Turbo. And again, at the front, just like BMW, you get 275s hapa na huko nyuma unapata 305, meaning the rear is more wider and the front is more thinner. And I've always told you, if you see a car having that setup, it means it embodies the true performance DNA. It means the AWD system that is running on this car is pushing more power at the rear than at the front, and that gives you better performance and handling for guys who love driving. And on any performance car that has those kind of dynamics, it means you also need to take care of the brakes. So what do you have here? You have 6-pot and 4-pot at the rear. Now, again, just as an option, Porsche allows you to have 3 types of braking systems. So this one is the basic low model that you don't pay an extra for. So you buy this car without having an option on top of it, this is what you get. They have a second one that is just slightly above this, and that will come with white calipers, and that one is another type of brake system that Porsche calls surfaced brakes. So it has been surfaced with a different coating to give you better braking. And then upwards of that, you get your ceramic, which are the best when you want to stop. That is what you go for. And I presume the ones who are getting them with ceramic brakes ni wale wanataka kununua the Turbo or the Turbo S, okay, or the GTS. I don't feel it's important for you to have it on your base Porsche Cayenne because these are sufficient, or you can get the surfaced one. They're slightly better. And then you have an active vent here just in connection to the front vent that also help you in pulling the brake. Because you have your normal side mirror with a side LED blinker and a 360-degree camera. And this speaks to how technologically advanced this car is, because the Porsche we used to know, the Porsche we used to love, the previous Porsche Cayennes that we used to enjoy driving, didn't have all these shenanigans. Now, the rear profile of this car is something to admire and appreciate. It's just a masterpiece in terms of beauty and design. So elegant, so simplistic. Come on, nana nachukia hii look. Okay, and something that makes it much, much beautiful is the fact that you have a Porsche badge just embossed into the rear LED taillights that cuts across the entire rear of this car. And then when you brake, it just lights up and makes this car pop. Kiwa nyuma, you just enjoy how this car looks. Now, these are Porsche Cayenne, meaning it's the best model of the Porsche, but you can get one that has a Cayenne S. Then you can get the newer one, because on this one, we do not have any diesel plant. So we have the hybrids to replace the diesels. You can get the Cayenne E hybrid, and then you can get the Cayenne Turbo S E hybrid, which is the most powerful one. And I'll talk to you about that when you get to the engine options pale mbele, so we can see how does it spec head to head against all the other cars it competes with. Now, if you come down here, again as an option, remember, this is an option. Again, you have quad exhaust tips. So you have 2 on that side, 2 on these sides. If you look at the exhaust systems on this car and the wheels, do you see how different the wheels are? Yeah, that's how special and unique Porsche is in terms of speccing out their car. But the exhaust tips on those ones are just 2, the big ones, the normal conventional Porsche exhaust tips. So these again is an option. And before we look at how practical this car is in terms of the boot, remember there's an option of this Porsche again as an option, which is called the carbon. Will come with all the carbon finishes on this spoiler. So if you want to spec out yours to have carbon, again, just go to the market when you're importing and make sure you get one that has all that. So what you get here is 772 liters of boot space. And that is courtesy of the fact that this car has been made longer, it has been made wider. If you buy the former generation, the boot space is slightly smaller. Now, underneath here, I expect to find a full or a saver spare wheel, but there is none. What you get here is a subwoofer, courtesy of Boss. Very nice. It means the sound is optimum and good for your ears. Then you get your tire repair kit, as usual. Any car that you're shipping from Japan nowadays, they are coming with those shenanigans. Now, there's something that I don't like and I like about this Porsche. Let me say I don't like it. So one thing that I like is the fact that unlike many cars, ukitaka kutoa hii kitu, the one that covers your luggage, they have a lever here which you just pull up and then you pull the thing out. I was supposed to just pull it out, right? Yeah, there you go. So you pull it out. Quite easy, right? But now something that I don't like is I cannot flip the seats to go back from here. There is no option for me to move the seats. So for me to move the seats, I actually have to come on this side and pull a lever, and then the seats will come down. See? That is something I don't like. But something else that I like is the fact that I can actually bring this car down because it has air suspension. I can press this button and the car will actually come down and allow me to bring my cargo in the car so easily and so smoothly. Yeah, that's dope. In case you guys are asking, where is your triangle? Your triangle is situated right here, quite conveniently with your first aid kit. Perfect. I think every European car has been engineered to be awesome. Like, this is a marvel of engineering. Everything has been put where you need it. Close the door. So let's check out the front of this car and see what is under the hood and how does it stack up against the competition, the Range Rover Sport, the BMW X5, the Mercedes-Benz GLEs, and even the Volvo XC90. I reckon, you know, it's trying to compete with this one. So let's check out what is under the hood. Anyone planning to buy a Porsche Cayenne, of course, they're going to pay attention to what is under the hood. At this point, let me break down the trims that you'll get if you're planning to buy yourself a Porsche Cayenne. Be it unataka kununua kutoka kwa Belafid Auto, or you want us to ship in a unit for you from either UK, Japan, or whichever market that we can get an awesome and perfect unit. So the base model of the Cayenne is called the Porsche Cayenne, which is this one standing next to me and the one that is right behind me. From there, you get the Porsche Cayenne E-Hybrid, which came in to replace the diesel variants because from 2019, we do not have any diesel plant on the Porsche Cayenne, courtesy of the VW scandal. Okay, you remember the Dieselgate? Yeah. Porsche was like, VW, I am not working on you on the third generation of the Porsche Cayenne because it's on this platform again that Porsche Cayenne disconnected itself from the VW Touareg. So the Touareg is no longer based on the Porsche Cayenne platform. Instead, it moved away into the Bentley Bentigers and the Lamborghini Urus. On top of the Porsche Cayenne E-Hybrid, you get the Porsche Cayenne S, which comes with a 2.9 V6 twin turbo. Very important to note because the former generation has a 3000cc V6 twin turbo. And the good thing is all the engines on the newer generation of the Porsche Cayenne have more power and they give out better performance numbers. So that is something you need to note. So on top of the Porsche Cayenne S, we have the Porsche Cayenne Turbo. Now that one comes with a 4000cc turbocharged twin petrol engine that gives out a very, very significant horsepower of 550. Okay, the previous generation again, the V8 is a 4.8, even though the 4-liter on this generation again is more powerful than the 4.8 variant of the previous generation. And then topping up the range is the Porsche Cayenne Turbo SE Hybrid, which comes with now an electric motor that pushes the horsepower all the way to 670. Just absolute bananas. And I know you guys are asking, but bra, where is the Porsche GTS? The Porsche GTS was kind of lost in the first phase version of this third generation all the way to 2023. And it was introduced back in 2023. And it sits above the Porsche Cayenne S. So GTS inaingia to G Cayenne S. And then from there, the rest remains the same. Very beautiful, very awesome. So let's go back to what you have here. So what you have here, again, initially on the previous generation, the best model didn't have a turbocharged engine. So in 2018, kwenda mbele, Porsche decided that on the best model, they're going to give you a turbocharged variant. And this has a single turbocharger, hence the power output. So this is a V6 3000cc single turbo. The turbo is variable geometry and gives you 335 horsepower and 450 Newton meters of torque. Something that you need to know is anytime you see a car that has a torque figure and a horsepower figure that is relatively close to each other, hiyo ni munyama, my friend. Don't play with that car because it is what we call a balanced power output. Now, sending all that power to all the wheels, the four wheels, is an 8-speed Tiptronic ZF transmission. Now, this 8-speed ZF that is on this car is a better version of what we had on the previous generation. It means it shifts faster, and the Tiptronic version means you can actually shift it into manual mode and you do your manual upshifting, up na chini if you want it. But this car has paddle shifters, making it quite easier and interesting to drive. So let's check out the interior of this car before we go on the road and do a proper driving and try to make it make sense. Why a Porsche Cayenne should be bought above all the other cars. I'm talking about the X5, the Range Rover Sport, the Mercedes-Benz GLEs. Just don't mention all those cars before you drive a Porsche Cayenne. Look how easy it is to get into the Porsche Cayenne. You know, my bum height and the position of the seat is quite easy, actually. Even if you are physically challenged in terms of height, this should be an easy car to get into, even though it's a proper SUV. And the seats, once you sit on them, quite comfortable and plush. Very nice. Then you have this bucket-like feel going on with them, and these things are protruding where you sit, and that makes it easy for the guy when you beba or lift up katikati to feel comfortable. Actually, you're taking corners with this car, you will not be moving around to disturb the peace that you have when you're seated here. Okay. You also get a drop-down armrest, which has 2 cup holders which you can't delete. And like now the X5, the GLE, this is where the things start changing. Hapa kidogo Porsche walipoteza mark. So you have to either acclimatize yourself with the fact that you will be putting your hands inside the cup holders. If you have a huge hand or if you have a small hand like mine, you can just be resting on the side, which is not very cool. However, here you don't get a 4 climate zone on this car. These are 2 climate zone at the front, so it's a dual. But if you want as an option, which you can pay extra, you can have the glass cockpit extending all the way from the front to the rear. And you have a big screen here, which can help now these 2 people control their own climate. So this can be cold, this can be warm. However, it's a very comfortable car. In case you thought you're only going to get the grab handles, pale mbele peke yake, Porsche is like, nah, I'll also give it to the rear passenger. So you also have your grab hands right positions well, because now here you need to confirm that you have them just in case I'm driving this car, because the speeds I'll be doing and the corners I'll be taking with this car. Now you need to have this ready for you. Okay, so let's check out the front of this car and try to put to bed the technological advancement that the 3rd generation of the Porsche Cayenne has made. Welcome to the Porsche Advanced Cockpit. This is the new name that Porsche has given to the new generation interior, which is so beautiful. And what do you get? You get very plush leather interior on the dashboard, on the seats. Yeah, everywhere it's just leather and premium to the touch and feel, which is very interesting and beautiful. I think the previous generation Porsche, was lacking a little bit in a few areas when it came to how premium the setup was. But on this generation, they are not playing. So now, what do you get as part of the advanced cockpit? You get a 12.3 touchscreen infotainment screen. These are new again for the newer generation. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto enabled. It comes extra with something special that I've just clicked. Inaitwa the Porsche Chrono Sport package. I'm a Sport Chrono package, which comes with this dial pad here. Now this one is what you use to change your driving modes. From normal, you go to Sport, you go to Sport Plus. Yeah. And this means that you can actually take this car to the track. A multifunctional leather steering wheel. And in case you thought these ones here are for controlling the volume, these dials here, no, they are not. You actually have physical buttons here to control the volume. And these dials here are actually the ones that are changing another extra set of screens next to the analog traditional screen that we have on the tachometer on any Porsche that you buy. Besides it, you have 2 7-inch digital screens that you control using this dial. So this one here will give you a lot of data like your mileage and all that, and this one here will give you a lot of data like your tire pressure, your fuel economy. It can also display your maps as well. Beautiful and awesome. Now the beautiful thing about this car is when it comes to the center console, because there's a lot that has been changed here. From the shifter itself and how it looks in comparison to the previous generation, this is a newer one. The newer one is so interesting in a point. Let me show you. The P is now a button. So when you want to have it in P, you press a button and the car goes into P. But check this one out. So if I put it in drive, and then I want to put in Tiptronic so that I can shift manually, and then I do, it gets to a point I want to put it in P. When I press the P button, the shifter moves itself back to normal driving mode, and then back to P. Beautiful and awesome. And talk about starting the car. You know, Porsche doesn't allow you to start with a key or a press button. So they have a thing that mimics a key that you twist, and then you start. I used to see those ones in the early variants of Hondas. I don't know what Porsche are doing there. Let's talk about what is more interesting that has made this car a bit of a car that I will enjoy driving, because I am a sucker for technology, and I hope you are as well, because that is the glass cockpit. This panel right here, the one that came to replace, I don't want to make it look like it was hideous, but I didn't like it. I don't know about you, but I didn't like that one that had an aeroplane feel to it with a lot of physical buttons all over. You have now minimal buttons here that are still functional, and some of them have been positioned not in the best way, like the volume. If you're driving this car, Mali volume maker, you have to move your hand past the gear lever to access it. I think they didn't think about it when they are doing that. But away from that, you have your dual zone climate controls. On this side as a driver, I have buttons to control my fan speed and the temperatures, and the passengers the way on the other side also has that as well. Then I have my heated seats, ventilated and cooled. This one has that as an option. Remember, the other one parked next to me doesn't come with cooling, but it has heated seats. Then you have, of course, your AC, and you have your defroster buttons. Then you have options to tune your suspension. This, remember, is air suspension. So I have Sport Plus for suspension tune. Then I have my traction control off and on. When I want to launch it and do 0 to 100, we will confirm that at the end of this review. And because Porsche still wants you to pay for more, they have extra buttons here that have not been mapped. One of them is Sport, the other one is Individual, E-Power for those guys who have the E-Hybrid. Then you have your Auto Pack option as well right there. If you pay extra, they're going to give it to you. Hapo sawa? Porsche. Of course, to top it up all, you get your digital clock with an analog second counter. I don't know what Porsche are doing here. What are you doing, Porsche? What is this? We are used to the analog clock all the way. What are you doing? Anyway, so you still have it there. I reckon people have moved towards having digital stuff in their cars, so Porsche is trying to do that. And then on the doors, these seats also have memory functions, and then the sound system that you get here is the Bose sound system. As an option, again, you can get Burmester sound system with 25 speakers. Again, you have to pay extra for that. I think Porsche and BMW are working from the same script. You want something more? Pay for it. So that is what you get when you're buying a 2019 Porsche Cayenne. Now, on the steering wheel, I told you have paddle shifters to move your 8-speed ZF. Again, just like I said earlier, as an option, this one has an electronically controlled telescopic steering wheel. The other one parked next to me has a manual one. So it's a manual lever, you pull it down and pull it up. As an extra on seats, they also have an 18-way adjustment. I know you can get some with an 8-way adjustment, but these ones, ziko na 18-way, meaning you can adjust everything. And they also have a lap support, this one, that can be adjusted electronically. Beautiful, awesome, perforated, ventilated, heated, cooled. Dope. Something else that you get 2 cup holders here, and then you get a storage compartment with 2 USB charging ports, and a glove compartment that can only store small thing. You have an SD and an eSIM option where you can run your internet to power up your 12.3 new Porsche infotainment system. Done? Let's drive this car and get to enjoy this panoramic active sunroof and see whether the Porsche Cayenne will live up to its legacy of being a perfect sports luxury SUV. So welcome to the driving experience of the Porsche Cayenne. Bugua. Niambie, talk to me, my friend.
These are the markets. It's not nikinunua kaviti na naiba hizi naeka.
Nasema ukinunua Castalet.
Nikinunua Castalet.
Hizi ndio zinakuwa the most expensive seats.
Unaona hizi. Hizi mimi wagera na Luki.
Mnatoshea hapa.
Mnatoshea hapa vizuri.
Hizi zinaitwa seat bolsters. Na ziko adjustable by the way.
They're adjustable, very adjustable. And also something else is that even hapa za mapaja. Bado the bolsters that hold your thighs.
Yes, adjustable.
Adjustable.
I told them these are an 18-way adjustable seat.
Oh, it's 18?
Yes, my friend. Means you can adjust it with any configuration you want.
Same way that you have 13 Bose surround system speakers.
Yes. Sasa hii 13 but tuko na option ya Bamister. Unaweza pia nunua Bamister yenye iko na 25 speakers. Hiyo ni premium.
25.
Yeah, you have to pay for it, my friend. Hiyo amp yake ni 1490 watts. 1490.
But tumeona Bose pale nyuma. I don't know if Fabul's done a cutaway of the Bose.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's a
the
very
subwoofer.
big subwoofer.
Yes, but let's talk about the most interesting things. One of them is of course the suspension. So this is the premium package.
So this is air suspension.
So tunakuja na air suspension and just listen to how we are gliding, my friend. Me and I say two things. One is air suspension is more durable and will last longer than the normal coil suspension if you just take care of it. The only time where it becomes very expensive if you start abusing it and take it through difficult terrains and labda moja ichape, it will be costly to buy one.
So it's take care of me and take care of you.
100%. So these will last for a very long time. Kama hii unaweza pata hizi ziko kwa hii gari, the stock ones that came with this car from the manufacturer. And this is still driving. This is around how many kilometers? I'm not sure. I'll check.
This one was around 62,000.
62, yeah. Yes. 62 kilometers, 62,000 kilometers, 58 actually.
It's 58.
Yeah, 58,000.
The other one is the
62. Yeah, we're still running on them.
Okay.
So these are very comfortable. The good thing is ukienda off-road terrain, ukifinya hapa off-road mode, unaweza change height. So unaweza enda low if you want to do your sporty performance. You can go regular. Right now we are doing regular. You can go high, then you can go terrain. So terrain is where it goes to the highest level possible. Yes.
Okay.
And then unaona pia uko na driving options za off-road. So uko na on-road, uko na gravel, uko na mud, sand. So uko na terrain response system, which is very dope for a Porsche. Yeah. You can literally take it on off-road, but who will take a Porsche Cayenne to an off-road?
I don't think. But anyway, tukipata pesa zikitusumbua,
tunaenda.
Tukijikuna hivi milioni inaanguka.
Naenda na hiyo off-road.
Tunabuy suspension tunaweka pale nyuma.
100%. Now let me talk to you about something else that is more important.
Okay.
Part of the suspension system. Kumbuka tukifanya review ya Golf R, kwamba iko na dynamic chassis control. So pia wako na yao. Inaitwa Porsche dynamic chassis control.
Where the suspension adapts with
the road conditions. It also takes corners and adjusts with the corners you drive. So torque vectoring and all that. Here you go, all part of this package. And to make it better, rear diff unaweza lock electronically, not through a button or anything, but when you're doing the cornering and all that, it can lock
itself.
It tires depending on how you're cornering to send more power or more
avoid
spin.
The body roll.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow.
Yes. So you can kama ina mimic a limited rear slip differential, but it's doing that electronically, cutters of brakes and the rear diff locking electronically, which is very dope. Okay? Iko nikiambia jamaa inakuja na sport chrono package and unaweza adjust hapo. You know, looks like the GLE.
No, it was the GLC C63S.
Yes.
Formatic Plus.
Yes, even the GLE I think is an option.
Yeah, it's an option, but I loved the GLE one because it had like a screen hapo katikati.
Yes, hapa katikati.
And it had even race mode. It had track mode and race.
Yes, but this one doesn't have race mode.
This one has just Sport and Sport Plus.
Yes, but you can also measure your track if you're doing your track circuits and laps. You can actually, courtesy of the Chrono Sport, unaweza measure.
Ile GeForce hata kama utapata 1 GeForce.
Iko hapo my friend. Yeah. Na maps pia ziko hapo.
Map iko for Kenyan roads already.
Yeah, so it's a perfect SUV. I think it's one of the most comfortable performance luxury SUV.
Hapo kwa engine.
Hapo mbele tuko na a 3000cc V6 single turbo with a geometry variable turbo, which makes sure that turbo like inakuwa kidogo kiasi, and then you get maximum output of power. 335 HP, decent 450 Newton meters of torque.
Nafikiri
yeah, you can tune, but I wonder who will want to tune a Porsche Cayenne. I think there are cars just like Mercedes-Benz. You say there are certain types of cars if you buy them, wacha tu kutune. Inakuonesha venye wewe ni mtu kidogo hauelewi maneno.
Hiyo ni BMW.
Just buy a Beamer if you want to do a proper tune. Yeah. So for me that's my take. It's an opinion. These guys can differ if they want, but for me I believe if you're buying a Porsche, if you're buying Mercedes-Benz,
I feel BMW and Audis are the ones that give you space to tune it.
I agree. So if you're doing Audi or Beamer, spot on. Just go and tune the car. because it actually provides for you to do that. But these ones, they're trying to nail down every person that is looking for different power. So if you want more power, go for the Cayenne S. If you need more power, go for the Cayenne Turbo. If you need more power, go for the Cayenne Turbo S. GTS.
There's always something for everything. Something for everybody.
Yes. If you want electric power plus more power, go for the Cayenne Turbo SE Hybrid. And get absolute power. So kila mtu ametengeneza, and same to Mercedes. So if you want more power, just go up the power band. But for Audi, even though they give you that option as well, but even in each option, it's not as varied as this one. Equal, like power in a change now, like 50, 100 HP, 50, 100 HP. So
I think same to the 911s.
Yes.
This is the 911 GT, GTS, GTRS3. Like you have options depending on the what type of what you're looking for.
Yes.
So that usishinde ukitampa na anything on the engine. For me as a passenger here, I love the view. I feel like a boss. Yeah. And there's something else I love about Porsches. These handles, the
grab handles.
Grab handles.
And this time they even on the door as well.
Because unajua sasa kukekale kadogo hapa kakuvuta, you don't feel like this door is really heavy. People don't know. Yes. It's a really heavy door, so it's easy for you to. Naweza fungua milango hapa as a passenger. I have.
Yes, you can.
I also have memory seats. Actually, 3 memory seats.
Yeah.
So kama uko na B1, B2, B3,
you can do that.
B wa kwanza unamwambia yako ni moja. Unajua hiyo time uko na pesa hata ukiwa na watatu uwezi ulizo. Haina shida. So tufanye aje? Tufanye 0 to 100 to confirm, because there's nothing much to talk about this car in the interior. I think you've done a good job. It just breaking down. I like this updated version of the interior. I love it, by the way. It's not too much. Unlike the Range Rover that has screens, ni kama unataka TV, too many screens.
Yes.
I'm really afraid of this place kumwagiwa maji.
No, sasa
unajua mimi niko na PTSD about
wewe ndo unakujanga na maji kwa magari. Wewe acha kuja na maji kwa gari. No one is carrying water to pour this. So, wacha tutuachie hapo. This is a very, very awesome car. I think the only thing we need to confirm now is how is the performance?
How fast can it pull?
Yeah, remember these are best model. So
Pepa inasema ngapi?
Pepa inasema 0 to 100 5.9. I'm curious to see. 5.9 for a base. Remember the former generation base model haikuanga na turbo. So ilikuanga tu V6 and A. So in this generation we have now a turbo in the base. Which is interesting, meaning Porsche paying attention to performance. Yeah. So wacha to push 0 to 100 to how it goes. Okay. Mr. Mbugo, are you ready for 0 to 100?
I'm ready.
So I'm going to put the transmission in sport. Enda kutumia
sport sharp.
Chrono, niweke sport plus. Hapa niko sport plus. Now we are ready to launch. You are ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Let me see. Then no, I'll put it back in drive. Here ina suspension iko in sport. Suspension pia naeka sport.
Hivyo sasa tulie.
Acha kwanza huyu jamaa apite. Enemies must suffer. Enemies must suffer. Waambie tumeweka V-Power.
Pale.
So inatuambia recommended ni RON 98.
RON 98.
Tumeweka RON 95 kwa sababu hiyo ndio equivalent. Twende kazi. Cha huyu jamaa apite. Huyu jamaa watu nduze kwa na shida sana. Uko ready Mbugo, you do this?
Uko ready.
1 2 3.
Skaza dev. Oh my god.
Kwa nafaa tushafika 100. Na mbona umeacha?
Sasa sinakwambia.
Yes, what are you working with?
6.6 seconds.
6.6 seconds. That's very dope. That is very dope. Wacha tupunguze mafuta.
6.6 seconds. That's close to even the GLC 63.
Yes.
You remember?
So now
I did 5.9. I think 5.9 or
yes. This guy is rated at 5.9. So 6.6 na tuko na Mr. Mbugo ndani ya nyumba, tuko na mizigo pale nyuma production. To me that's very decent. Plus let's just say we've not warmed up the car enough to make sure. I know when we do another pull we will get a better number. But for now, kwa sababu light is catching up on us, we will not do it. Talk to me Mbugo, which one are you picking between these, the X5? Okay, the X5 tutafanya the 3 liter inakuja na
okay, kama BMW hapo kidogo inakuwa tricky.
Inakuwa tricky pale,
unajua unaweza push powers unataka.
GLE
honestly, I'm a Mercedes-Benz guy, but I'm buying this over the GLE.
Me, the fact the reason why I buy it over GLE,
yes,
the ZF.
The ZF.
The 8-speed ZF.
Of course, now when you go BMW, you also have 8-speed ZF.
Yes.
So hapo kuna match for match. But sasa kwa engine hapa ndo shida iko.
Hapo kwa engine hapo kidogo.
Na mimi sina shida na engine ya Mercedes-Benz. Shida niko nayo Mercedes-Benz ni transmission.
Your transmission.
For me with the 9-Tronic thing, me I'm not buying that.
It's slow as hell.
Yeah. So let's go do value for money to own exactly where do we sit. But in terms of price range, me, I will say the closest competitor to this car, the closest when it comes to money for money, performance to performance, will be the BMW X5. Yeah, because the Mercedes GLE, if you say GLE... No, the GLE, the X5 smoke the GLE. In terms of price? Yes. In terms of price, because it's too expensive. Yeah. It's too expensive. So for me, I'm thinking the X5 and the Porsche, that's where the money should be. The Range Rover Sport, yes. Range Rover Sport, we're also talking about something. Because that Range Rover Sport, it offers something more significant in terms of performance and luxury. Actually, reliability. Reliability, where we draw the line. Because this one, it's rare you see a Porsche sleeping around. No, the Porsche will never give you if you take care of the car well, you'll never get any problem. Range Rover, you take care of me, you have few things. Yeah. So and people are here maybe wondering mbona tuongeleje BMW na reliability. Tell them the modern BMWs are quite reliable. Like they've worked so much. One of the worst things that BMW had back in the days in terms of unreliability electronics, and they've done a proper job in catching up with that. And so the modern era BMWs are very reliable, by the way, very. So tufanye value for money? Value for money. Perfect. So let's talk about value for money. If you drove all the way to Belafid Autos, ama ulikuja pale Conversation and told us to import for you a car. If you go to Belafid, they have a set of 8 units, I told you earlier. And this one being one of them, having different options from this one. Like this one has LED headlights, but they are not matrix LED. And still they feature the Porsche dynamic light system, even though it's a totally different setup. The headlights on this one will cost you 300,000. The headlight on the one that I've reviewed, the 2019, will cost you 500,000. So best with the option, this one has your coil suspension and this one is running on air suspension. The interior setup is significantly different. This one having bucket seats and this one not having bucket seats. So these kind of things drive down the different dynamics of pricing. So this one here will set you back 9.8 million Kenya shillings. But this one for a 2019 unit will set you back 11 million Kenya shillings. Buying a Porsche can range in between 9 all the way to even 18, 20 million, depending which type of Porsche Cayenne are you buying. Are you buying the Cayenne S, the Cayenne Turbo, or the Cayenne Turbo SE Hybrid that pushes 670 HP? All that is your choice to make. However, do I believe that these cars offer value for money? 100%. If you're a driver who's looking for a sporty, iconic, luxury SUV that can literally do almost everything except extremely going to off-road, because Cairo tried going there and we know how much he spent on the car when he came out of it. Not that it can't do it, it can do it. It has the structure of doing it, but it will cost you an arm and leg if things go bad. So will you want to take your Cayenne to an off-road challenge? I don't know. The guys who've done extensions, lifted this car up, given it a proper off-road stature, and they've driven it to an off-road adventure. So I tend to agree that you can do it if you have the right money. But here in Kenya, do people want to do that? I don't know. You tell me in the comments. I hope this has been an awesome and exciting episode on this epic Sunday of Conversations Kanisa. I'm your host, Papa Askofu Ibrahim Tolo himself. I hope you've learned something. And please leave me a comment, leave me a like, leave me a subscription, because the road of 200 is together. Me, you, and the rest of the team at Conversation. Bye-bye, and see you in the next episode of the midweek review on Conversation.